Welcome to Session 6 of The Lost Tower of Xirus, a 2D20 Conan actual play featuring the Fantasy Grounds virtual tabletop from Nerd Eye Industries. A disclaimer, this is a beginner game, so some of the players are new to Conan, new to the 2D20 system. Fantasy Grounds are all three, so there will be some instruction done during gameplay, and there will be mistakes made. In an effort to make sure that we are correct, or at least I am correct, it is possible for, and it is even encouraged, that those watching participate in chat and point out any kind of errors that I make, not the players, but me. So if I make an error in any of the rulings, point it out right away, and what that does will reduce one doom from my pool. And this goes for anybody who watches the video on demand. If you post that in the comments, that works the same way. Those watching live can actually assist the PCs by spending bits. 50 bits will buy the group 1 momentum, and this will go over the normally allotted 6 momentum that's capped from normal play. Or you can also spend 50 bits and give me some Doom to play with. So let's go ahead and get reacquainted with the players and their characters, and we will start with Cornelia.
Hello, my name is Morgan. I am playing Cornelia, the lovable little bug who is setting off to find her parents' legacy by finding the lost city of Atlantis, and everything has gone so poorly so far. Her grandma died. Her cousin might have been behind it. There's a lot going on, and she might have just murdered a small child by hitting them in the forehead with a rock. So excited to see what's going on with Cornelia.
All right. And next we have Varg.
Yes. So my name is B. I'm going to be playing Varg. It has been a long time since I've played Varg. Varg has memories of going into a mountain, hanging out with a new friend, but not really being with Varg's actual friends. So Varg has some questions and some new things to discover when he meets up with y'all. Oh, and I'm an Asgardian barbarian, for what it's worth, but that's extra.
Yeah.
All right. And next we have Kett.
Evening all. Michael playing Kett. Kett is a Stygian mercenary, barbarian, of course. But Kett sees himself, or kind of imagines himself as the old wise man in the group, and frequently will stand back and let the young whippersnappers do all the fun stuff and make all the crazy mistakes so that he can go, currently on a date with Adama's mom, I believe.
That's right. And now we have Adama.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leslie, and I'm playing Adama, who is a Corinthian noble warrior and is currently in her parents' home. And that's, it's been interesting, a little awkward. I think everyone turns into their teenage self when they're at home, and she's just really trying not to upset mom.
All right. So for a quick recap for those just joining us, or, who have forgotten kind of what we're doing, the 3 mercenaries, Adama, Kett, and Varg, were tasked with the protection detail of guarding Cornelia, the granddaughter of a prominent Karajan noble. Instead of the planned trip to Argos, where Cornelia was supposed to go, Cornelia convinced the others to help her investigate the mysterious death of her parents. Varg and Adama killed some kidnappers at an inn and are now protecting a weird girl named Padri, who bears a strange mark on her forehead and speaks Atlantean, which is supposed to be a dead language. After retrieving a dusty old urn from a lotus dealer, the group found an ancient map inside, and they fled Coraja for Corinthia in search of the mysterious Ku Azoth, a fabled city of gold. A passage was written in an ancient language on the map that mentions the Road of Skulls, which Adama's aunt Ophelia used to tell her tales about when she was a child. While in Corinthia, Varg went on their own way to seek guidance from an exiled member of their tribe, as the others spoke to Ophelia about the Road of Skulls and learned about the weird monks who guard its secrets. The group learned about the legend of Nepriti, an Atlantean chieftain's daughter who was cursed by the gods and founded the city of Kuazoth, which was sacked by a Zimri sorcerer named Xirus. Legend also spoke of an enchanted jewel called the Eye of the Wolf, which is said to contain the soul of Nepriti and is an integral part of the key to opening the Ark of Xirus. On a whim, Cornelia placed the jewel on Padri's strange forehead mark, and the girl screamed. That's where we left off. So we're going to open this session in Krotoa, which is one of the city-states in Corinthia, in the dining hall of House Lacheos, and Padri has just fallen to the floor as Varg is escorted into the room.
So Cornelia is gonna be like, oh my god, oh no, oh Padri, I'm so sorry, and try and like, I assume she didn't just fall to the floor. I'm gonna help her like when she starts to collapse.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. She screams and then starts to go down. So yeah, that's not that.
So Cornelia, a bit of a shrimp herself, is holding this child and like looking very burdened by it, and like, and then look up and be like, "Oh, Varg, help!"
Yes, Varg will help. What is happening?
I don't know.
You're pale. She's pale. Kett isn't here. Varg has questions. Where is Adama?
Yeah, there's so much to tell you. I think I messed up. I heard this story and I thought I was being smart about something, and I think I may not have been smart about something, and I put my necklace on Padri's head and she screamed, and then she just blows out.
Varg will help. And I just want to like pick them both up and like bring them to a room.
Okay.
I don't like somewhere nice.
Right. And so as this is happening, Adama, you and your aunt were actually in a side room just talking about something else when you heard the scream. So when you come back in, you see now Varg is like helping the two of them. And so Varg, this is the first time that you've seen this older woman. Her name is Ophelia, and I actually have a picture of her. Give me 1 second.
She looks dope as hell. She's a hate.
Right.
Does Adama see her mother anywhere? Is she still off with
Nope.
that?
Yeah, Adama, your mother is no longer there. Your father, one of the servants, as soon as the screaming started, one of the servants like rushed him out, like wheeled him out in his chair.
Okay.
So yeah, here is Aunt Ophelia. There we go.
Ooh. I really like the tunic. How do I? There we go.
So she comes in with Adama and is like standing there looking at Varg holding both Cornelia and this child, and she looks over at Adama and says, "Your friend is here."
Varg wishes you well.
What? Can someone? What is happening?
Varg thinks that Cornelia hurts Padri, and everybody is screaming and crying.
Cornelia is gonna wail. She's gonna be like, "It was an accident!"
Everybody is screaming and crying.
So
It's like two children from a 7-year-old's like birthday party where there was a fight. It's just like one girl's passed out, the other is just crying, like
Bawling.
yeah.
Like, Varg would like help.
what? Right here. Give me one of them. Let's find a room. So I assume Adama knows the layout of the house. Is there like a sort of more private space that she can
Absolutely. Yep.
shuffle them off to?
Yep. So yeah, where would you take them?
She would probably take them to like guest quarters, like some sort of, guest bedroom where she knows no one would really be coming or going.
Okay. Well, there's like a guest room for like an overnight guest. And your mother is the kind who, if there's extended guests or extended family, there's actually like a guest cottage, on the grounds, but not close enough where she has to hear them or see them all the time. So that is also an option.
Then if that is like within easy reach, I think Adama would probably usher everyone out there. And like as she goes, she tries to make some sort of excuse, like, perhaps she's saying something like, "Oh, Padre, I think she just got into the wine a little bit. You know how it is." And then just take her out the door.
Okay. And what about your aunt? What do you want her? Because she's just kind of standing there like was going to come with you, but unless you stop her, she will come with you to the guest cottage.
I was assuming she would follow because
Okay.
Aunt Ophelia does what Aunt Ophelia wants to do.
That is definitely true. Okay. So the entire group has now left. Kett, you have no clue where everyone is when you finally do come back, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we come to it. So the walking over to the guest cottage, it's cold because there hasn't been someone staying there in a while. So as you walk in, Aunt Ophelia walks up, because this is where she would normally stay if she ever stayed at your parents' place, which would be super rare. So she immediately goes over to the hearth and starts lighting a fire and getting things kind of prepared as you come in with Varg assisting the other two. And she turns around and she looks at the group and says, "I think," and then she kind of looks at the girl again and she says, "Something is not right with her." And then she walks over and she says, lay her here near the fire."
Is the gem still on her forehead?
It is.
Did it stick?
Yes, it did.
Oh dear. Yes, Varg will put the tiny one down, and Cornelia, you are I think maybe if Adama took Cornelia, put her by fire. Fire's good. Warmth will scare all of your facial expressions from you. Varg thinks so.
It was an accident. I promise. I just thought, Ophelia was telling us that story about Nepriti and about how she had her soul in a ruby and I had a ruby. So I thought, well, Padre speaks Atlantean and that's pretty weird. And I thought maybe, a ruby plus forehead gem and plus forehead might be, did I kill her?
If Cornelia put you, or excuse me, if Adama put you down, Varg would just kind of start to gently push you towards the fire. Which regardless of what the carpet, if you have carpet or floor, hardwood floor underneath, that's just not easy. So you might be tumbling a little bit, but they just want to yeah, it's Varg says it's fine. Just Varg would less sounds now, please.
Okay.
All right. Perhaps a glass of wine for Cornelia. And Adama looks over at Padre and walks over to the body.
Okay. Yeah, and Aunt Ophelia is now kneeling next to her, just kind of looking at her, not really touching her, but just kind of staring at her, almost as if she's staring right through her when you come walking up.
That's Aunt Ophelia in a nutshell. All right, so Adama kind of not ignores entirely, but just leaves her to whatever it is that she's doing, just to check for vitals. Is her pulse normal? Does she seem like she's breathing normal?
Okay, so you reach down to just kind of feel her chest, because she looks just looking at her, you can tell that she's breathing, but it's very shallow. It's not like a gasping for breath or death rattle, anything like that. It's more of just a very almost like she's in a very, very deep sleep. And as you're like gonna like feel her neck to see, if you feel any pulse or anything like that, you're almost like as fast as like a snake. Your aunt grabs your hand right before you touch her, and she says, "No. Let the process finish."
All right. I was just trying to check and make sure that she is okay. So you think that we just need to leave her here for a bit?
She says, "If you disturb it, you may kill her."
Okay,
I'm not
that
exactly.
might have been good information before we carried her into this room.
All right. She says, "It's progressing. I can see it. Do you see it?" And she kind of looks over at you and she says, "Look at the gem. Really look at it." So, Adama, what I want you to do is I want you to make a discipline check, which is under your willpower. So if you open up your character sheet, you have your discipline.
Under willpower, discipline. Yeah, this is not such a great roll.
So you're going to start with your base difficulty is going to be 2. So on the bottom left,
DC
click
2.
DC 2. You don't have, the group does not have any momentum yet. So do you want to give me any doom for extra dice?
You already have 12.
Yes.
Seems like a
Can Cornelia kind of poke her head around Adama and go, "Was I right? About the, I mean, theoretically I thought I'm freaking out, but also, was I right? And can I assist Adama?
Oh, you're trying to maybe distract her a little bit? Yeah.
Not distract, or whatever would help Adama in this situation. I don't know if she's supposed to be like, if this is supposed to like trap her and she needs something to break her concentration, or if she needs something to help her focus. Either one, Cornelia can assist.
So what's going on is you're looking into a magic gem, and which is designed to trap a soul. So now your aunt wouldn't set you up like that. She's not trying to get your soul sucked away. But what you're seeing isn't natural. So what your discipline roll is to not take mental damage from what you're seeing. So yes,
Right.
Cornelia can assist. And the way that works is, and you just tell me, what skill are you using to assist in this? Now, it could be anything, as long as you justify it and it sounds plausible, completely okay. So what you would do is you would go to your bottom left of your screen and change the 2 yellow dots to just 1 yellow dot, and then roll that skill to see if you succeed.
Maybe lore, since you were helping me by explaining the lore.
I mean,
That's fine. That's fine.
I have absolutely no problem using lore that I have an 18 in to assist in this. So
Right.
yeah, I will say magic gem, or all the things that I have studied about cursed objects and stuff that I will assist with her. And like, ooh, if it's a gem that, maybe took somebody's soul, you should be really careful. Just, might suck you in, or like it might have a residual effect.
Okay.
Right.
Did you know I'm Clippy?
All right. So there you go. That's actually 2 successes because your focus is 5. So with 1 dice, you generated 2 successes. So now, Adama, what this means is you will roll your discipline. Now, and you're not giving me any doom, so it's going to be just your basic 2 dice, so 2 yellow dots,
Yeah.
DC 2. And then you would click your discipline, and you're looking for successes. You got 0 successes. So
I also generated a momentum.
you did. So you can go ahead and click the momentum into the momentum pool. All right. So, all right. So here's,
and Leslie has that momentum to use now, correct?
yeah, you could use that for, if you want to roll that, you can roll 1 extra dice. So just click the
try?
yellow dice yellow dots and turn that into.
I mean, we have it. We might as well spend it.
All right. So I would do that.
Mhm.
And then I would change my yellow dot to 1.
Mhm.
And then I roll the willpower again.
Yes, the discipline. Yes.
Yes. Discipline. No.
No.
I cannot. Yeah, look at that. Like it was like 11, 12, 11.
All right. So what happens is, Cornelia, you're trying to give her enough information to know that magically, magic soul gems aren't necessarily something you need to be staring deeply into. But unfortunately, she doesn't really listen to you as she's
Almost like, ooh, pretty.
right.
Accurate.
It's shiny.
Right. So,
Right. Yes, what are you talking about?
so you are going to take 2 dice of mental damage, which comes off of your resolve. So if you click your combat tab, and right around the middle, you see resolve, and I will roll 2 combat dice. Now, 1 equals 1, 2 equals 2, 5 and 6s are special effects. So here we go. So you took 3 points of resolve damage. So
the
you,
green dots, I would just take
yep,
those out.
exactly right.
Okay.
Oh.
There you go. So, and that's no big deal. The thing about resolve and vigor, which are your physical hit points, the thing about those is at the end of a scene or a combat, they completely refresh. You don't have to be healed or anything. It's wounds that wounds and trauma that you really got to worry about. So, just taking a little bit of resolve damage it maybe shakes you a little bit.
So
but
she just kind of like grabs her head and is like, why did you have me look at that thing? That is not. No.
All right.
Somebody like Cornelia.
So as soon as you start like reacting that way, you're like, both Varg and Cornelia, you see that Aunt Ophelia reaches into like a pouch, like on her side, and immediately takes something with her fingers and jams it into Adama's mouth and says, chew this.
Varg, think that seems right. Yeah, no, that's fine. Carry on.
Right. So yeah, and the intense headache goes away, but now you've got this like taste of foot in your mouth.
Oh dear.
And she says,
Adama
"Don't
goes
chew
to look for a
it."
glass
She
of
looks
wine.
over at you and she says, "Oh, don't chew it. Just swallow it." Ugh.
She says after she chewed the whole thing.
Adama grabs the goblet of wine that she gave Cornelia and like chugs some of it and hands it back.
All right. So yeah, and your nerves are settling, and you're feeling a little bit. That wine must have been pretty strong because you're feeling just a little bit woozy. But the gem doesn't hurt to look at anymore, and you can see that there is what appears to be a faint glow deep within this deeply red gem, and you almost swear that you can see what appears to be a woman, like miniature, kind of swimming in like this sea of roiling red water.
Cornelia, I think perhaps you are right. There is someone in this gem.
That would be amazing.
That sounds like a terrible fate.
Varg disagrees. Varg knows nothing about gems or people in gems, but
Right, but if this lady if Padre isn't pretty, 1,000-year-old Atlantean, that would be incredible.
Varg agrees until the moment you die, because I feel like Varg is not equipped to deal with that kind of power.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody should die. But if Ophelia's story was right and she's been cursed for 1,000 years and we undid that, that's good. Right?
You do not get real responses from Adama and Varg. They lock eyes and they're just like, she doesn't get it. What else can we say?
I appreciate that was in harmony.
Because
Beautiful.
she was a good person, and this Xirus guy cursed her. So, that'd be cool if we could undo that. And then, I don't know, maybe she can show us the Lost City without Xirus being all part of it. That would be cool.
Varg doesn't know how to handle this. Varg really just came here because there was some wolves and Varg has some stuff to settle. Speaking of which, Varg has questions to... they kind of take the moment to figure out, like, that's probably Ophelia. To the person here, Varg would like to know about... Well, let's one thing at a time. Can we help Padre?
All right, so Ophelia, she's also looking in the gym. So you've got both Adama and Ophelia kind of looking at this gym as if it's like super entertaining, like it's enwrapped. They're enwrapped in this vision. And you ask about Padre, and Ophelia kind of looks up at you because she's kneeling next to the child, and she looks up at you and she says, "She is beyond our help. She is. If she is to survive this, she must do this on her own."
Hey.
And then Ophelia just kind of stands up. She like dusts herself off and looks over at Adama. You're still kneeling down and looking at the child, but she stands up and turns and looks at the rest of you. And she says, "Who wants a drink?" And she walks over to where the wine is.
Varg would love a drink.
Ah, yes. She starts pouring one.
Varg also, has anybody seen Varg's other friend? Taller than Varg? Well, nah, Varg would like to believe he's taller. Dark hair, dark skin, sometimes has a bandana, has a very nice looking sword.
Cat?
Oh yes, no, I know their name, but I was wondering if Ophelia or has anybody else seen Kett?
Cat left a little bit ago on a walk. I can see if I can go get him. I'll go get him. So, Cornelia will head out in search of Kett.
Okay.
And hopefully not be traumatized by what she finds.
I suppose that will be up to Kett. So Cornelia leaves, and now Ophelia's pouring a drink. She hands a goblet of wine to Varg and is holding one herself, but she's kind of looking at you, but not really like, not, again, with her eyes seem to be looking through you. And she says, "You are taller than I expected."
Varg and Varg's people, they're very tall up north.
"Oh, I know. I have seen your kind before. Very, very brave, and some are very ruthless, but you are special."
Yeah, Varg was a farmer, we no time for ruthlessness. Varg has raised many animals, especially, and they're gonna like pop out of their pocket the little hedgehog carrot and like put them on the put them on the counter. Varg knows you can't be ruthless when you travel with tiny ball of pricklies.
Oh, yes. And she holds out her hand, like palm up, towards Carrot, and Carrot just kind of sniffs her finger for a moment, and then just kind of crawls up into her hand and falls asleep. And she's holding Carrot like in one hand, and she kind of looks over Carrot at you and says, "They love you very much," and then hands Carrot back to you.
Thank you. Varg knows that Carrot always bites the finger that feeds, so wow. Though gently.
She says, "Well, I didn't have any food, so."
Um,
You have questions?
yes. Varg has many questions. Varg has a very specific question about two-headed wolves, though. What do you know about that?
She smiles and says, "That is something that I've always liked about your clan and your people. Very direct. No, not like the civilized folk who want to flatter and deceive. I admire that."
Thank you. Varg doesn't have much flattery to offer. You said nice things about Carrot, and that was good.
The two-headed wolf that you speak of is named Adzad. It is a demon wolf.
Ah,
It lies and sleeps at the base of a tower at the end of the Road of Skulls.
has anybody defeated this two-headed wolf?
Not in many, many years now.
What powers does this wolf have? Varg would like to know.
Well, it depends on the myths that you believe. I believe that the Aesir believe that this wolf is the devourer of the earth, and when they are awakened, it'll bring about the destruction of our way of life, our world.
Okay, that's a lot.
Others
What
believe that
else?
it's merely just a demon that dwells at the base of this tower and sleeps. And when it finally does awaken, its followers will come and give it power and sacrifices.
This is something Varg would like to explore. Does Ophelia have any counsel to not go visit two-headed wolf?
You wish to visit or you wish to slay?
Varg would love to talk first, and then if they prove to be the epitome of evil as Varg suspects, Varg has had great many dreams about wolves, and Varg has not been able to... I don't know how to interpret my dreams. And then he kind of says it as bluntly as he is possible, or he can.
She sits there for a moment, and then as she's looking at you, she actually focuses on you this time, like right in the eyes, and she says, "There is the belief that, as I say, that this is a cataclysmic power that should not be awoken. But I don't necessarily believe that. You see, Xirus is Adzad's father. At least that's what one of the legends, the legend that I choose to believe, says. And Xirus drove Adzad mad. If the father is awakened before the son, then the cataclysm may happen. But if it is the other way around, who knows?
Must the son die? Varg doesn't always want death to be the solution.
That is news to Cornelia. I'm just not in the room, but
Right. She sits there for a moment and she says, "I don't know. That is your burden, Varg. And I believe that is why you are here."
He's gonna down the goblet of, I don't know, is it good wine?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
The family. It's from the family winery, so it's the good stuff.
In the words of John Hammond, spared no expense.
Right.
He'll down that in one gulp and slam it on the table. Understood. Varg likes a challenge.
To get to the sun, you must open the door, but you must do so without the father awakening. I don't know what that means. She shakes her head. Sometimes I say things, and I don't know what they mean.
Haha, Varg does that a lot too. But okay, gonna write that one down.
You can hear Adama's eyes rolling.
What is Adama up to right now?
Yeah, so
Staring at the child.
yeah, you can do whatever. I mean, you're enwrapped with this, and as you're watching this, what appears to be this woman swimming in this, in this gym, it slowly darkens, and then you don't see her anymore, and then the gym just rolls right off of Padri's head, and she opens her eyes and looks at you. And says something you do not understand.
All right, I do
Get
not
Cornelia.
speak that language, but
You see
are
her,
you all right?
she kind of, like she has a bad taste in her mouth. And then she goes to sit up, and you see her eyes kind of swoon for a minute like she's dizzy, and she lays back
Oh.
down.
Perhaps stay still for a bit longer, all right?
And she says something else in a tongue that you do not speak. But she doesn't argue or fight you. You see her head nod a little bit.
Adama just tries to do the like universal "it's all right, you're safe" kind of like it's okay. She like looks for like a carafe of water to like pour her some water and then
Okay.
hands it to her.
Okay. She looks at it for a moment and then takes a very small sip and tastes, nods again and takes a little bit more. And then she kind of looks, she's laying down, she looks up at you as you're like leaning over her, and her hand reaches up and she grabs a little bit of your hair and she like runs it through her fingers. And then she smiles and nods at you.
Adama's like, okay. All right. Someone go get Cornelia, please.
All right, so we'll cut to Cornelia. You're walking through a very lavish, like vineyard. It's like a statue garden and vineyard all in one. And as you're walking down this like combed pebble path, you can hear a giggle.
Hey.
And then you hear a more masculine. All right, Kett, give me a giggle.
I had
There you go. Give us a giggle.
Cornelia turns the corner. There are two horses there for some reason. No sign of Kett. Just keep going.
Oh, dead.
That was maybe the most awkward laugh I've ever done in my life.
I loved it.
All right, so Kett, what does Cornelia see when she rounds the corner?
When Cornelia comes around the corner, it looks as though Fett and the senior member of Adama's, family, the patriarch. Wait, no, matriarch.
Matriarch.
Sorry, matriarch. I got it. I self-corrected. The matriarch and I sitting on an ornate bench out kind of in this garden area. It's a beautiful night, maybe a little bit humid, a little bit cool, and they appear to be sharing like a private laugh. They are not like all over each other. They're sitting closely, but not. She's not on his lap. There's nothing untoward happening. They are just like sharing a moment that two people sometimes do.
Oh, that's pleasant.
No touches, nothing like of the sort.
There may be, I would say, it's certainly possible that Adama's mother may have had her hand on Kett's knee or on his forearm, but things seem to be pretty low key.
What a gentleman.
So Cornelia's gonna round the corner and have a hand up like this, just in case, and then sees you and is like, "Oh, okay." Just in case it had to. Just gotta protect yourself. So, hey, what was Adama's mom's name?
Theophila?
Yappa?
Yeah.
What?
Theophila.
Theophila. Okay. Hello, Lady Theophila. Kett, can I get you, for a moment? 'Cause need you for things.
Things, yes. That
Important.
seems
Important things.
important. My lady, please. And he bows low, almost goes to a knee. Please wait here for me. I will return momentarily.
All right. She pulls you in close. Cornelia, she says something in Kett's ear, and you can tell from the look on his face that it's something lewd. And
Cornelia is looking away.
And again, you hear that.
Anyway, it's important.
And so then as you back up, like away from her and like turn to follow Cornelia. Cornelia, lady,
I would like to say there's like a lingering hand, like the touch is on Kett's arm, and as he's walking away, the hand continues to like move down his arm, and then certainly down, like she manages to get a little tap on the backside, kind of as she's moving her hand away from Kett as he walks away.
She slots the credit card. Yeah. So anyway, so then Cornelia, what you see is she had a hand on Kett's back. You see him kind of arches back a little bit as he's starting to walk away, and she is staring.
His eyes get wide.
Yeah, and
Cornelia is so scandalized.
And Cornelia, she is staring daggers at you.
Cornelia does not care about that because we're on the break of a huge academic breakthrough. Things are very important right now. So as soon as like they have like turned the corner and it's not like outright rude, she is going to grab Kett's hand and just book it back to like drag him back to the room.
Kett stops.
Cornelia will do a comical like short stop in that of like a and like yanks back. Come on.
If I am gone too long, she'll know something is wrong.
Okay, but like if
Talk
you are
to me.
slow,
use your words.
If you
have no problem using your words any other time. Use your words now.
There's Kett. Oh my gosh. So Ophelia was telling us this story and it was really, really cool. And it was kind of creepy at the same time because Ophelia is really cool and also kind of creepy at the same time. You know, so she came. I don't know if you were there when she came, but she came and she told us the story about Kuazoth and how back in the day there was this cool Atlantean lady named Nepriti, and then she was cursed by Xirus, and he put her soul in a ruby. And Cornelia is going to take her necklace that no longer has the ruby on it and kind of wave it at him. And then I had a moment of what I thought was maybe a mistake, but I'm now realizing maybe it was genius, that I thought, well, Nepriti was this ancient lady and she got her soul trapped in a ruby. Guess what? I have a ruby and it's linked to this whole thing. So Padri speaks Atlantean and her dad was apparently, Xirus, or she was linked to him.
Okay.
So
Cornelia, what's happening at this exact moment while you're talking to me? What's going on?
Padri might be absorbing the soul of a 1,000-year-old Atlantean lady named Nepriti. So what I was getting at is that I put the ruby on her head.
That's
And then she screamed. And then she fell unconscious. And then Ophelia said that there was a process happening and that there was this lady there, but not there. And then she was in Padre.
let me go excuse myself.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And no.
That I needed you.
No, so where are you guys? Where's the rest of the group? Just tell me. I'll meet you there momentarily.
Okay, so it's in a guest room. So if you go down that hallway and then you hang left and then you turn another left and then you go down another hallway and then you go 2 more rights because apparently the guest rooms are like really hard to find. But it's that way. Hurry up. And then Cornelia is going to book it back.
Okay. All right.
Kett stands there for a moment, like kind of tries to take all that in, and then puts a kind of a fake smile back on his face, takes a breath, and turns back to our matriarchal friend.
Okay. All right. So you come walking back, and she is now lounging on this like like a marble bench that's in this statue garden, and she is full on just kind of like laying back. She's striking a pose, so when you walk into this opening, you see her like bathed in moonlight, and she kind of gives you a come hither look, and she says, I can see on your face that you want to tell me something I don't want to hear. Let me save you from that and just come sit next to me for 5 minutes, and then you'll never want to leave again. But if you turn around and walk, you'll never, ever have me in this position again.
Kett will walk up to the bench.
And as you walk up, she looks at you and she says, I could make you the captain of my guard and lavish you for the rest of your days. What say you to that, mercenary? Be treated like a king. Or does your devotion to that weird little girl trump what your heart desires?
Kett will sit next to her on the bench. Will kind of put his arm across the bench and kind of lean in toward her.
Mm-hmm.
Your offer is tempting. And perhaps we will share wine again. But I have to leave.
All right. Her hand, much like Aunt Ophelia, her hand moves like as fast as a snake and grabs you and pulls you in close. And she says, do you know anything of Corinthian women?
I am
one
traveled, but not so traveled.
No one tells a Corinthian woman no.
Then let me.
And then as she's like she's got like her you've got your gauzy top on, and she has it like balled up in her hand, and then she like rubs a finger across your chest and says, "You're just making me want you more." And then she lets you go and pushes you. Go on.
He'll take a very deep, slow bow as he kind of backs away from the bench. And then he'll turn kind of quickly so the back end of the little skirt thing kind of flips up. And he'll slow walk out of the room.
All right. And then as you walk out, you hear she had everywhere she goes, there's always like a hidden little like a tinkle bell for a servant, and then you hear a little tinkle bell go off as you're walking off. Okay, so Cornelia, you come back into the guest cottage, and as you walk in, you see Varg and Adama there, and Aunt Ophelia, and you see that Padri's head kind of turns towards you, and she no longer has the gem on her head; is now laying on the floor next to her, and she's looking at you.
Hey, Padri. Are you okay?
She. All right. All right. So, for those who aren't familiar with Fantasy Grounds, the languages you can actually type in and put whatever languages the player characters speak, and so that way only Cornelia understood what I just put on there.
So in Atlantean, Cornelia is going to respond, yes. I'm sorry if that hurt you.
All right. She holds out her hand and she looks at it, and she says, "Am I a child?"
Yeah. You told us your name was Padri. Is that correct?
She sits there for a moment, and then you see like her eyes widen just a bit, and then you see her mouth her lips kind of curl for a moment. She says, "Padri." My daughter?
Varg pours more wine.
Yeah, all this is going on in a language nobody in the room speaks.
Cornelia
You'll see
looks
that
stressed.
Cornelia goes from like super interested to feeling like a little distressed. Yeah. I don't know. So we met you, this body, a couple of days ago. You said that you'd been taken from your family in Kuazoth.
She nods.
And you said that you were trying to get home, and I was trying to find Kuazoth, but Kuazoth's not been around for a really long time, like 1,000 years, give or take. And she spoke Atlantean, which is weird because this language is technically dead. Like, not a lot of people speak it, which is why if you tried to talk to any of these people, they wouldn't know because it's not commonly used. And
she nods.
Okay, so far so good. So this lady over here, and I'm gonna point at Ophelia, she told me a story about how there was once a lady named Napriti, and she had her soul stuck in a red ruby by a really bad guy named Xirus, and I had a red ruby, and you have this symbol on your forehead, and I thought that maybe it would be a thing to try.
How
If-
does this look like? Sorry, for the outside, like.
Yeah. So yeah,
For
she's
Adama.
Cornelia's speaking in very much those that tone and everything, and so Padri is she's sitting there stone faced, but she doesn't look the same way that she used to. Whereas before she had this like look of almost like childish wonder and curiosity. She's very stone-faced, almost like a very hard look to her eyes, almost as if she's much older than she appears. And as Cornelia is talking to her, her face just kind of darkens more and more, like as if she's getting more and more agitated. But she doesn't do anything. She's just sitting there. Just it seems like she's like stewing over this.
Cornelia is babbling, and you've seen Cornelia babble enough times to know in any language what Cornelia babbling looks like. Anyway, then I'm really sorry. It seems like it might have hurt you. And then it looks like there was a process that happened. I'm really sorry. Are you Napriti now? I'm Cornelia. I didn't say that before. I'm really sorry. I should have introduced myself.
That we understand, like Cornelia. Well, cheers, Adama, when we hear that. Grab Kett a drink. We're just here for like the show. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Pouring
Yeah.
more wine.
And-
That's all Adama's doing.
And roughly,
That's
like,
Kett.
I would say probably within 3 to 4 minutes of Cordelia coming back into the room, then Kett follows.
Okay. Yeah, and she doesn't answer, Cornelia, she does not answer your question. She just looks at you, and then she kind of looks around at everyone else. And then she holds out her hand, like underneath, like Cornelia, you're talking to her, and she holds her hand up like underneath your chin. And she says, and then she points and she says, they do not understand us. Why?
So a dead language is a language that is no longer spoken pretty much at all. And Atlantean technically qualifies as a dead language. I learned it because my parents really wanted to find the civilization of Atlantis, so I learned it so that I could read it, which Padre told me that my pronunciation is atrocious. But that's because no one speaks it, and I didn't know how, I'm guessing.
She looks at you and she says, Padre was right. And she says it with kind of a lilt to her voice. She says, Padre was right. You speak as if you're reading it directly from a book.
Well, that's how I learned it.
Show me your tongue.
Meh.
She reaches up and grabs the tip of your tongue.
Okay.
So this is what the rest of you see. Kett, you walk in, you see Padre is now sitting up and is holding on to Cornelia's tongue.
Is the ruby still stuck on Padre's forehead?
Nope, it's laying on the floor next to
Okay.
her. So she's got her 2 fingers on your tongue, and then with her index finger and her thumb nail goes and slices your tongue,
What?
and then sticks her 2 fingers in her mouth.
That's unsanitary.
Varg has questions.
Oh,
Kett has questions.
Oh, welcome.
What
that hurt.
is going on?
Varg thinks we should interfere. Kett, you're much more scary. Please help.
You're taller.
Fine.
All right.
It's the rest of his wine.
So then Padre turns and looks at the rest of you and says in Shemetish, like modern Shemetish, you will take me home.
Was that magic?
And then she looks over at Cornelia, doesn't answer your question again, and then looks back at the rest of you. Now.
Oh, right. Well, this is going quite good. But
And Ophelia's like, she actually stands up and starts backing away.
When the scary lady is scared, that's a problem. That makes me nervous.
Varg will rest hand on X, just in case.
Adama's cursing in Corinthian. Sort of a string of curse words coming out.
So we're trying to take you home. It's just that the path to get there is kind of guarded by monks. And
Cornelia, you're bleeding. You're bleeding. Still.
and
You're still
sorry. Ow. So we wanted to take you home, but that's where we were going. But there's a path, and it's called the Road of Skulls, and is guarded. So we just have to be careful. We were trying to find more information first. Ow.
All right, she says, I am not interested in your excuses.
You're very rude. Well, I'm sorry that I woke you up, but I just thought that it would be, actually I didn't really think about it. I just reacted. I thought I had a good idea, and I thought I was like saving you or something, maybe.
She reaches over and she grabs the gem off the floor, and she holds it up, and she puts it holds it up to you and says, do you know what this is?
I think it's the Eye of Xirus.
It's the Eye of the Wolf, yes. And she said, and when she says that in Shemetish, she says the Eye of the Wolf, yes. And then when she says it in, she says it again, but she says it in some other language, and you get just the timbre of her voice. You know she's saying it again, and then but in place of wolf, she says Xirus.
Oh, okay.
And then she says, where did you get this?
So I got it in a couple different parts. I got the necklace my dad sent me. He died trying to find the city. And then only a couple days ago we got this urn, and the urn had the ruby in it, and then the necklace fit the ruby, and the urn had a map, which was going to take us to Kuathoth.
All right, she's listening to you, and then as she's listening to Cornelia talk, she's looking at the rest of you, and then almost as if she's stopped listening to Cornelia. And then she points right at Adama. She says, you seem able-bodied. And then she looks over at Varg. You seem able-bodied. And Kett, you're standing in there. And you. And then she looks over at Cornelia and shakes her head. And then looks back at the rest of you. Says, will you take me to my home? And then she points at herself, or she has the ruby in her hand, and she holds it up again. And she says, where this was found. And then she throws it on the ground. Pow! Is where this was found. And if my daughter was there, then the rest of my children are there.
All right, so listen to me, crazy whatever you are. We go where Cornelia goes. So if you want to have something to do with us, perhaps you should be a little bit nicer to her, all right? I'm a bit tired of your attitude, and you're kind of small. And I think I might put my sword for you if you continue to act like this. Do we understand each other?
All right. Her eyes narrow a little bit, and she gets a little bit of a smile on her face, and she says, that is good. We will need that. We will need that. And then she points at Cornelia. More than we will need that.
You perhaps don't understand what I just said.
Cornelia's going to hold up her notebook and be like, I have a lot of notes, okay?
Can we put her back in the gem?
Varg will think about how.
All right.
All right.
She holds up her hands. She says, I am not. And she looks over at Cornelia. I am not trying to insult you, child. I'm trying to save you. The Road of Skulls is not a place for one such as you.
Luckily, she has 3 such as us.
She shrugs. Very well. Don't say I didn't warn you.
So also before, no one else could read this language, so it's kind of necessary for that.
So you
Varg
say.
agrees.
Also, things have changed in like 1,000 years.
Cornelia, you, what do we call you now? Varg would like to know, and what is your usefulness? If we are performing a task for you, Varg would like to know how to address you and what you can do.
And how much we're being paid.
That I understand. You may call me Napriti. But if you call me Napriti where we are going, and she thinks for a minute, I will accept Padre for now. For if you reveal my name where we are going, then all is lost. I must play the part of the child. Otherwise, he will know.
Varg encourages silence then. But what skills can you offer? We know you are more than just a child. Varg knows this. What can you do?
I can open doors that you may not even be able to see. I know the way into the tower and beneath it.
Varg is satisfied. Varg is also not captain. Varg will go back to counter and drink with Ophelia.
Yeah, Ophelia's like pouring, drinking, pouring, drinking.
Ophelia, please. There are only a couple more bottles left.
So Varg learned everything about the wolf. Yes. What the fuck is his name?
Adzad?
Adzad. He learned all about that while Cornelia was getting traumatized out in the gardens, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is for Morgan's knowledge, not Cornelia's. Adzad, we already knew, sleeps at the base of the tower.
Yes.
Okay. And he needs to be woken up first.
Yes.
Okay.
That was very explicit.
Tower. But Cornelia doesn't know shit about fuck about that at this time.
I mean, if you sit and drink with us.
So speaking of, Adama kind of like glances over at Napriti Padre and then looks back at everyone else and is like, perhaps we should like to have a bit of a private conversation.
Varg would like that. It's been a while since Varg has spoken with you all.
Get,
Glances nervously over at Napriti.
She stands up and just walks out.
I suggest the dining hall. You've been in that gem a long time. You're probably hungry.
Probably gotta pee. His bathroom.
Adama kind of like thinks about making some kind of warning about her family, and then she just kind of doesn't.
No.
Like,
As soon as Padre is out of the room, Cornelia is going to hug Adama
Adama's like, but listen, we are not going anywhere without you. And she's, well, pardon my language, but a bitch.
Thanks. I really appreciate you guys. I know that you don't really have the same investment in all of this as I do, and it's mostly 100% came with me for the money, but I really appreciate you guys and everything you've done for me. Thank you.
Varg thanks you as well. Varg has learned much information. Varg has learned about the two-headed wolf and that they may be a demon or they may be, well, the destroyer of worlds. But Varg is not worried. Varg looks forward to this challenge of friendship or fighting.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. When you get a second, I'd like to know everything you found out about the two-headed demon, and I can put it in my notebook.
Yes, and Varg will unclasp their axe and like gesture to you the was it it's an engraved like symbol rune?
Yes, it is a symbol. And I will show it to you right now. Varg's axe handle.
Cornelia will do a little sketch of it and any ooh, pretty.
Cool.
Yes.
And any other information that Varg has and offers, Cornelia will put in her notebook.
Mostly specific about how excited they are about killing the demon because this axe has the power to do that. But
Rad.
also with great power comes that responsibility and they don't have to kill. So they kind of grapple with you their moral quandary about like this is where Varg is at, you know.
I think it'll all be clear in the moment. You're very good about making decisions.
Varg hopes so. Thank you. Also, Varg would love to pet the cat that is meowing.
There are
You
a
find
lot of
little cat.
there's a lot of cats in this palace.
It's a winery cat thing. They just show up and
Drink wine and meow.
yeah, as one does.
Mm-hmm.
As the conversation's happening and as it dies down a minute, Kett would simply walk up next to Cordelia and Cornelia put his hand on her shoulder and child, we would have come money or no.
Well,
I
then,
would have come money or no.
thanks, Kat. And Cornelia will hug Kat too. And then she'll hug Varg because she doesn't want Varg to feel left out.
He's grateful. He gives her hugs.
All right. So here's my question, and perhaps this is a stupid question, and you can tell me. But say we take the 1,000-year-old princess back, right? And maybe we somehow can release her daughter from, like, now that there's like she's taken over the soul of her daughter, and that just sounds terrible, but what are we doing by doing this? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, are we creating a bigger evil from smaller evils? Do you know what I mean? I'm just asking the question before we do this.
I mean, are we even? Is it evil? Like what I'm lost. I don't know what significance this 1,000-year-old person has really.
This Xirus, or sorry, her husband, you know, for someone so arrogant, she has terrible taste in men.
I don't think that they were married. Although Padre's saying that Xirus was her dad, and then her saying,
Right. So, okay, they were lovers, friends, whatever.
I
They
don't
had a
know.
child.
He's
So how old was Padre?
Right.
If she's 1,000 years old, how old was Padre?
I don't know. She was not particularly accepting of questions.
She did not seem to have her memories.
No,
Well, she
I-
seemed to have her memories. She just seemed to be really pissed off.
I'm,
Oh, you
I'm,
mean? Oh, yes.
if she's been in the gem for that long, how is there any more of that wine left?
1,012 years old. But I don't know if there's like, I mean, she's obviously some sort of magic user. She did my tongue. So,
Well, she just pinched your tongue, though.
Well,
The
and then
fingernail.
yeah, well, she sliced it, and then she put a whole bunch of my blood in her mouth, and then she was able to speak Spanish, which is very cool.
Varg
But-
was impressed. Very impressed.
Well, Padre knew Semitic, right?
Yes, but I don't.
So was it magic, or was she just tasting you?
Ew! What a phrase.
Adama drinks more wine.
I don't know, but she seemed not to know that Atlantean was a dead language, and at least Padre knew that it was not commonly spoken. She said that the place where the ruby was found and my necklace was found is the place that Padre came from. I'm assuming that's Kuazoth.
Okay. Varg is here so far. Keep going.
So if we bring her back there, I don't know. She said her other children are there.
Yes.
How many children does this lady have?
Perhaps Varg thinks we should find out more information.
Yeah. Also, I feel really bad if I accidentally. I don't know if I killed a Padre by accident. I thought I was doing something good, but I thought that Padre was Nepriti, and maybe she was her own person, and maybe I just.
Child, if it makes you feel better, I think everyone here has killed someone by accident.
That, you know what, does not make me feel a whole lot better, but I appreciate the thought.
If I pick up the gem and look at it, does it look like it has a soul in it again?
No.
Oh, please don't touch it to your forehead.
I will not.
No. It is not. It's a dark, like a deep red. Whereas before, it was deep red before, but it had like a little sparkle on the inside. It doesn't even have that now.
Cornelia is going to take it from Adama and put it back on her necklace.
Okay, fits perfectly.
I don't know. I feel bad.
I'll try not to shoot him.
So the thing that we do know that would be bad is if Xirus were to awake, right? He is bad?
Yes.
Is that seem to be right?
Yes, that I recall from the stories. Yes, the stories that Cordelia's parents spoke of.
And what Varg said, that the demon needs to be fought first.
Yes, Varg has said that. The sun, Varg thinks the sun must be killed at the door, before the door.
Okay. And
At the
she said that she knows how to get us there, which is good.
Okay, all right. Well, I am still somewhat skeptical, but I will do whatever you think, whatever the rest of you think. Cordelia, I trust you. Kett, I know that you have our best intentions. Varg, you have my sword. I just wanted to ask the question before we go and we take this lady back to her tower, and she turns out to be some, master sorceress who wants to kill us all.
Well, based on Ophelia's story, she was good. She was not bad.
She just got stuff taken from her a lot.
I think at this point, Adama looks over at Ophelia, who's drinking heavily.
Yeah, she's just kind of she's just kind of like just swaying in the breeze. And then, there's no breeze, but she's like kind of rocking back and forth.
Kind of a meet your hero situation for Ophelia, isn't it? Like she's so used to like spouting off all these prophecies and shit, and now that like something's actually real, she's like, okay, whoo, things got a little too real.
Cannot compute.
Yes, yes. Adama's like, okay.
So Ophelia looks over at Adama and she motions you closer, and she says, "Adama, I wish I could go with you. I really do.
I do not. It's all right.
It's okay.
I love you.
I swore an oath that I would never set foot in that valley.
Why?
It was a promise to my mother, your grandmother,
Why?
because she believed that it was cursed, and now I believe the same."
All right. So, cursed as in what exactly?
All right, she kind of motions towards the door where Padre walked out. If that is what dwells in the valley beyond the road, or worse, when that Stygian came out of that valley, I think they may have unlocked something. They may have awoken something. Be it that or worse. I do not envy you, child. I really do not.
Do you think we should go down or?
All right, she looks right at Varg, and then she looks back at you and she says, "Yes, you need to go. And you need to go now."
Okay, all right.
Varg drank a lot and would have loved to eat, but okay.
Yeah, perhaps we should sleep and then go in the morning.
Rest, relax.
She says, "If you wish to depart in the morning, then don't stay here. I will take you to my cottage. It is near the road, as you know. And you can leave in the morning from there. And besides," and she kind of looks at the door again, and she looks kind of, she says, "I can't stand to be near your mother another moment."
Well, that makes two of us. One last question, though. What is our family's connection to all of this?
Your grandmother once told me that we are the keepers of the past, and that it was our solemn duty to make sure that the monks that dwelled there were cared for, but also didn't leave the place that they were supposed to stay. The monks that
Alright.
live there, they're not welcoming, but yet they don't mean malice to those who help them, but they are fanatical when it comes to the defense of the road and the valley. My fear is that even if you bear them no ill will, they will not treat you kindly. They see it as they see interlopers as an affront to their beliefs.
Alright. Is there anything that we can do to appease them or to gain entrance to the road that you are aware of? I do not want to kill someone that we are supposed to sort of protect.
She shakes her head. You are in uncharted waters here, child. I can be of no more assistance to you.
All right, well, perhaps we'll just bring some family wine. Who knows? Maybe we'll make friends.
Yeah, maybe it'll be good.
Varg believes wine is a gift everybody likes. Cats, do you agree?
And he's like tapping the bottom of one of the bottles. Mm-hmm.
Adama is going to make sure that they go buy the family wine wherever
The
they're
storage?
stored.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you're going to raid the liquor cabinet before you leave?
Yes, essentially.
Okay.
So yeah, she takes them by there and like this bottle and this bottle and this bottle.
Okay. Nobody stops you, obviously. I mean, maybe a servant or two kind of sees what you're doing, and actually, you know, you could even incorporate their help if you wanted to. But yeah, no one stops you. No one, you know, interlopes or anything like that. Eventually, Padre comes walking back. Looks like just from looks like she has like a spot of jam on her shift, and you know, looks like she had eaten something. And
Satisfying to Cornelia. Not so perfect after all, are we?
and then as she's walking back towards the cottage, she sees everybody, and that Ophelia is like getting ready to lead you away, and she nods and just kind of falls in step as you're walking into the, you know, deeper into the family grounds and towards the edge of the land. And unless you have something else you want to do, you get to the cabin, and it's a restful night and can leave first thing in the morning.
I guess I do have a question, and it's more of a question for Kett. At any point in the middle of the night, did you go back to the estate?
Oh
Like,
no.
Did you? Okay. Because that wasn't.
No.
I wasn't
Kett-
clear on. It was just like, but.
Kett knew the role he was playing,
Mm-hmm.
and that role is over.
Excellent. Okay.
Cornelia is going to transcribe everything that's happened in her notebook. And then to make herself feel better, she's going to start a little enemies to friends, little fan fiction about these monks. You know,
Okay.
just to make herself feel better that everything's going to be fine. And for once, something is going to go right. And we are going to be friends with these monks. And she's very excited about it.
Okay.
At the cottage, are there any animals like
All over the place. Rabbits and yeah, there's, I mean, you get the impression that Aunt Ophelia is very in tune with nature, and that she has a lot of animal friends.
I think he's done yelling. Okay. Varg would like to sleep in like a barn or like with some of the cows or some of the horses.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere outside with them. Kind of get himself reconnected to his roots.
Okay. All righty. Otherwise, yeah, the cabin's not like it's not great, but it's homey. It's comfortable enough. So for those of you not wanting to sleep in the barn, you know, you can get a very good night's sleep.
I'll have you know I still get a great night's sleep.
Well, sure. No. I meant because the you would sleep perfectly in the barn and whatnot, but everyone else would be like, oh, this is a barn. So
It just smells a little bad. It's fun.
Kett, as everyone goes to sleep, Kett makes a point of taking the outfit that he was wearing and kind of folding it up nicely into his pack
okay.
for future use.
All right. All right. And so you next morning setting out? Okay. All right. So the Road of Skulls is not very much it sounds way more ominous than it actually is. It is very much an overgrown At first, it almost looks like it could be like a game path or something like that. But every once in a while, it's kind of broken up with this like an ancient stone that's set, like a road marker stone. But they're so worn down that, and some of them are so moss covered that you don't even really notice them until you see. Padre kind of stops and looks at one almost as if she's remembering something. And then as upon closer inspection, you tell that this is one of these old stones that was used to mark the road. No like actual skulls or anything like that marking the, on the road itself. Every once in a while, you'll see that maybe where some erosion has maybe brought down some of the topsoil or whatever, you can actually see what appears to be maybe an old paving stone, but beyond that, there's not much to speak about.
So, whether or not she answers Cornelia,
Mhm.
at various times, Cornelia is going to try and ask questions of like, did the road markers look like this when, like how you remembered them? Or, were they different?
She doesn't answer immediately, but
Okay.
after a little while, I mean, like you ask her the question, she doesn't say a word. And then for like 30 minutes, she doesn't say anything. But then she'll look over at you and she'll say, and then she says, it was called the Road of Skulls because for every mile marker, we lost a faithful blazing this trail.
Oh, okay.
And that is why I stop at each one and pay my respects for those who have fallen in my name.
Oh, okay. So this is the path you took when you were pushed out, right?
Yes.
Okay. So following that, every road marker, Cornelia will have like a little moment of silence
Okay.
and respect. And in the middle of the road markers, she will ask more questions about the road paving and about what has changed in 1,000 years with the area, and more questions about the city and about the culture and other things that she can think of.
Okay. And she fills in a lot. Like I said, at first, she's super standoffish. But especially once you start showing the respect that she's showing each mile marker, and it's not like an exact mile, like, it's been a mile, we lose a follower. It's, they're sporadically at first, and then they get more and more prevalent. And as you're showing like not proper respect, but
The markers increase in frequency as you continue down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the idea? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So as you're getting farther and farther down this road, yeah, the markers are definitely more close together. And as you're showing respect, and I do any of the rest of you do any, because it is completely obvious. Padre stops at least the first couple of ones, and she stops and she like bows her head and stays there for a second, and then she runs to catch up to the rest of you. And then after a few of those, then you see Cornelia starts doing it too. So
I think Kett will stop his horse. He doesn't necessarily do anything forward about it. He may bow his head in the direction of the marker, but it's just more stopping to keep them from getting behind.
Yeah, Adama will, pause whenever they pause. And then we'll be sort of surreptitiously searching as they are sort of doing that thing. She's kind of doing the, is anybody following or watching us thing?
Oh, definitely head on a swivel from Kett as well.
okay.
I think Varg is a little bit less attentive. He also doesn't offer the same respect or deference. At some point he might mumble Varg only follows his own gods. And then kind of not acknowledge the markers.
Okay. All right. So as you're progressing on, let's have Kett and Adama. You know what? Varg too. Make a observation check or survival check, your choice. And it is DC 2.
Varg was not very survival
Ooh,
today.
Kett, it's on you, buddy.
Come on, click you.
Varg was looking at the clouds.
Oh no!
What was Kett looking at?
Kett was nursing a headache.
Ah.
Kett is not as young as Kett used to be, and Kett may have imbibed too much wine previously.
Y'all, we have we had a success?
Well, the difficulty was 2, so no one succeeded. And Adama got a complication.
Oof.
20.
Yes. So what here, this is what I will say is you have a minor complication. I will add a doom point to that complication to make it more of a medium level complication, in that as you're making your way, and it's these mile markers are getting a little bit more and more frequent. You're looking around. You're making sure you're not being followed. You're making sure that the road is you're not walking into an ambush or anything like that. And as you're doing that, Adama, you hear something crunch under your foot, and you look down, and you see that there's something in the ground that you had just stepped on.
Or my horse stepped on it, I guess.
Oh, your horse. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're walking. You're looking around, and your horse steps on something and just kind of and like bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do a. It is animal handling,
Oh, jeez.
and your DC is only 1.
Okay. DC 1. Animal handling.
I almost want to offer my help. You know, Varg and whatever your horse's name, I'm sure I have a wonderful bond.
We have a success.
Ah, you good. You
Hooray.
good.
Yep. So the horse reacts as if it was completely startled. You calmed it down so it doesn't, number 1, throw you. Number 2, like take off running. But as you what you realize, and the other part of it is, it doesn't buck you. It doesn't take off running, and because when it was walking, it stepped in what appeared to be solid ground, and it crunched through something, and its front leg went down into the ground. And if it would have tried to take off running, it probably would have broken its leg.
Ooh.
So you were like, ooh, you calm it down, and it sits there for a second, and then you see it tug, and pulls its leg out, and it appears to have cracked into something that it once appeared solid like stone, but it wasn't.
Adama's gonna hop down and take a look at it.
Okay. And when you hop down, you take a look at it, and what it is a hard case. It looks like like some sort of like a leather covered like hard case that you would like pop open. Kind of think of it like a hard case of like a laptop case or something like that. I mean, that's kind of the shape of it, and it's not that old, but it was covered in dirt and things. And when you see it the horse had put their hoof completely through it, and there was a hole. It was like someone had dug a hole and like stuck this in there, perhaps.
That trap?
Yeah.
No, you don't get the impression that it was a trap. It's almost as if someone was trying to intentionally hide this.
Oh.
Adama, digs it out or tries to take it out to take a look at it.
Okay, Cornelia. So Adama stops and starts pulling something out of the ground, and you turn to see what she's doing, and so does Padre. Turns and looks and sees, and you see Adama pull your father's case that he used to wear on his travels out of the ground.
Shout out to that horse.
Would Kett have recognized that case?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's an academic like protective case, so maybe.
Yeah, I wonder what this thing is. It's very
Adama, can I see that?
sure. Sorry about my horse. And...
No, it's okay. It's the top of it. Eric, it's the top of it.
Yes, yeah, it's so it is as if it had two pieces together and it had been opened and then the lid had been ripped off and looked like somebody tried to bury it.
Okay, but there's no bottom to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It looked like someone tried to bury this here. Do you recognize it? And Adama kind of like digs around in the dirt to see if there's any more of it there.
This was my dad's. My dad was here.
Oh,
Did my parents die around here?
It wasn't. Well, it was hundreds of miles from here, but I mean, you got the impression that they had been in this area. Yes.
Okay,
At least from the notes that you had.
right.
And this would have been a case that he would have carried like his journal and things like that he would take, like when he got home, he would transcribe everything into like his home journals. But he had travel journals that he would keep, he would scribble things in and whatnot. He would keep stuff like that in this case. And that his final journal was never recovered.
Huh. Okay. Cornelia's gonna look around at the way that the dirt was. And from now on, she's going to keep an eye out and see if there's anything that looks similar to that going down the road.
Okay.
Because if one piece is here, maybe other pieces are here.
yeah. Does a general sort of sweep of the area?
You can now. That was just like casual observation. If you want to like get off your horse and actually like search around, you can do that, and your difficulty would only be 1. But if just like casually riding by, the difficulty was 2.
So Cornelia will do that.
Okay.
So
Either survival or observation.
oh dear. Well, survival is
Do you
more.
think she could argue for lore?
Adama's gonna help.
Oh, I succeeded.
Ah!
You
I
only-
generated momentum.
Oh gosh,
Ooh.
good.
and you only rolled 1 dice. You can actually roll 2.
Oh, whoops. So I'll roll another one. Hold on. So I'll just keep it at DC 1 right now.
Yeah.
So okay, so observation. Oh no, whoops.
Okay. Well.
We'll take one of those.
Right.
Sorry. I don't know why it did. Oh, I understand what happened now.
So, but either way, I mean, even if we took the first one there, you still got 2 successes, so you generate a momentum.
Okay.
And as you're looking around, the road itself is, it's a mountainous trail at this point. You're getting deeper into the mountains. And as you're looking around, you can see what appears to be, you're no tracker, but you get the distinct impression that there have been people here relatively recently.
Huh. I wonder if the monks were here or maybe my stupid cousin. Hope it's not my cousin.
How many? Like, can you identify?
Well, that looks like a person, and she's gonna point.
All right.
I'm like, she's not fucking good at this. She's like, well, those look like kind of footprints, so that could be the same person if they ran around in a circle 4 times, or could be 2 people. Hey, Kett, what do you think?
Kett will get off of his horse and go look at the spots that Cornelia is pointing out.
Okay. All right. So you can make an observation check or survival. The rest of you can
We'll go survival.
either do it or you can assist if you wish.
Adama will assist.
Okay. That's just
Well,
the 1
roll
dice.
1. Yeah. Observation, right?
All right.
Roll.
Nice.
Woo!
So Kett got
a boatload of successes there.
right. So Kett got the initial success, and then Varg's assist and Adama's assist makes it 3 successes. So you generated 2 momentum.
Woohoo!
And what you determine as you're looking is that yes, there have been people here very, very recently, within like the last few hours, and so that's what you get with the initial success. If you want more information, you can spend a point of momentum.
Yes, definitely.
Worth it.
Spending. Oh, come on, drag that.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So you very recently, within the last hour or so, the next thing that you come to realize is that they are moving at a pretty good pace, and you get the impression that they're moving around, and they are looking for an area to ambush you. They know you're coming because they stop there. You see they'll put like, you see footprints and like some go into higher, onto the end of the rocks to look. They come back down. They're moving things around, and then they're moving forward. And as you're looking, you point out a couple, or you can determine a few areas of rocks that would be perfect for an ambush right up ahead.
It appears our companions on the road here are going to be ambushing us shortly.
Varg wonders, are they monks?
Is it a mix of human prints and horse prints?
All human prints, all with what appear to be woven sandals.
Possibly not. They're wearing very light footwear,
Hmm.
sandals.
Varg understands they're trying to defend themselves. We don't necessarily want to kill them if they ambush. Can we flank? Varg is wonderful at flanking enemies.
We could possibly do a warfare check to see if.
That is exactly right. So
There's a roll for this?
yes.
Yes, it's under intelligence. It's warfare.
Oh, now intelligence?
And this is also one of those cases where if you wish to assist, you may, and you don't have to necessarily use warfare.
I don't know that. I mean, Kett can certainly make a warfare check, but I don't know if there might be maybe somebody else in the group that might be more strategically aligned. No, I'm nope. Everybody bowed out. All right, so I guess it's Kett.
All right. Does anyone
That's
want
good.
to assist Kett?
No, I'll try.
Okay.
Give
So
it a-
warfare would be the default, but if you can, if you have a compelling argument for some other skill, you may do that at, of course, 1 dice.
Intelligence, Kett's lowest stat.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom,
Cornelia
boom.
can make a historical argument for past battles.
Yes.
More!
Oh, yeah, sure.
You research this area. You've read all about what your
Sure.
parents are
I'm
Exactly.
gonna. My goal is to make basically every check possible for Cornelia to be
Yeah.
more.
No, I mean you're arguing it very well.
Okay, so I will assist with 1 die
Okay.
and just say, well, historically speaking, some armies in ancient times used to use this setup brand, but blah 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 blah.
Sure. Sounds plausible. And you
Eric,
generated a momentum.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I try an awareness, maybe insight or observation, something about determining like the movements of where they've gone and what's the best way to get around them?
Yeah. That sounds about right.
All right, let's see.
Oof.
No, never mind.
All right, Kett. You've got 3 momentum in the pool. Do you want to spend any momentum on this warfare check? And Varg, I'm sorry, Varg, do you want to do any? Do you want to assist at
No,
all?
I can't help.
Okay.
I think so.
Varg's like,
Yeah.
All right.
You're the clouds.
Yeah, I think we'll do a, we'll spend a momentum.
Okay. So make sure you got your 3 dice there.
Yep.
Boop.
DC is 1 or 2.
It is 1.
Okay.
Nice. So you got 4 successes.
All right.
And Cornelia gave you an additional 2 successes. So your difficulty was only 1, so you generate 5 momentum on that roll. So you're going to cap out at 6.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
you got 12 doom, but we have to cap out at 6.
Yeah,
Right.
bummer. So
The system is rigged.
that's
yo.
right.
It's
That's right.
rigged.
That's right. That's right. The dealer always wins. All right. So as you are making your way down, you're like, this would be a perfect place for an ambush. This is, and then Kett, you're like, there's got to be a way around, a little bit of awareness of like situational awareness of this would be their sight lines. And well, historically, this would have been, you will start next time in this bottleneck.
Oh no.
Oh, a bottleneck.
And
Great.
you will be sneaking up on them. So I will put them on the board and you will be able to see where all of them are. So,
Whoa! Oh gosh!
I believe that calls for a huzzah.
So cool.
Ah, my goodness, there are so many of them.
so what I will, for next time, I will leave, we'll pull this up first and then you will tell me where you want to place yourselves. Now, if as you're looking at it, you can tell that, just from looking at it, you've got your people down low, you got your people up high, and then your one of your group there is quite obviously a leader of some sort. And that would be the person that would be on the group on the left on the top. So you may choose where you.
Before we end this,
Mhm.
can we tell if they are heavily armored figures or are they kind of lightly nomadically dressed figures, perhaps?
Right. Yeah. Go ahead and place your
Gonna go
markers where
right
you-
behind the leader and be
There you
like,
go.
"Hello,
right.
Cornelia here."
Hello. Yes, they look like their main weapon is hunting bow. But they do have daggers and they are wearing like a woven armor. So they're not completely like just wearing robes or something like that. They are definitely warriors of some sort.
They don't appear to be mercenary types.
Oh no, they are not. They are not. They are they seem to be indigenous to this area.
Very good.
Suko here.
There you go. All right. So
Would you like some wine?
we
Yeah.
have brought you some wine.
So, question: the monks are here to protect the road, right, or to protect the city?
You were told that they were to just protect the road.
Okay.
That the road and the end of the road is considered sacred to them.
Gotcha. And they are buddy with Xirus, or
That
we
is
don't know?
to be determined.
Okay. That'll be
All
fun.
right. All right. So so we are out of time. So let's go ahead and go back around the table and let everybody know where they can find you. And we will start with 1 second. Let's go ahead and start with Cornelia.
Hello, I've been playing Cornelia, your anxious little bug. You can find me, Morgan, on Twitter at ThistleRaven. You can also find me on the Taking Initiative podcast. You can find that on Twitter at TI_pod. And I think this is the only active game I've got going on right now, which is weird to say because I've been in many so far. But I should have some stuff coming up, and you should stop by and say hi.
And next we have Varg.
Okay, you got me thinking. Active games. What active games do I have?
Let's get out the scroll book.
My calendar. Like if I've been playing Varg, the Asgardian Barbarian. You can find me on Twitter as @B_Zelda. I'm a member of the Broadswords. I run games for Magpie, the Magpie Curator Program. I think I'm doing that maybe this week. I'm also on a lot of panels for Gen Con with Saving for a Show, Utopia, Roll20, Broadswords, and many more. We'll just focus on that.
All right, and next we have Kett.
Hi, Michael. Been playing Kett at LoserMLW on Twitter and most social media. You can find me here on Mondays now. We've switched up the schedule a bit, and then you can also find me on the Redemption Podcast. It's @Redemption Podcast, or sorry, @Redemption Pod. I think, I don't know, on Twitter. It's a Star Wars actual play. It's been going on for a number of years. We're in the Clone Wars, and we are a ragtag, badly skilled freighter group. Other than that, you'll see me around.
All right, and we have Adama.
Hi, I've been playing Adama. This is Leslie. You can find me at Leslie GM Girl, and currently playing in this game on Monday nights.
All right, and I'm Eric. I'm the GM. I do this, and I also am the GM for the Resting Glitch Face Shadowrun podcast. So you can find me at Boz Saloon or at Gamers Table. That I also monitor that Gamers Table's social media.
Oh, so, Eric, if I can pop in for 1 second, you can also find me on the ETU game that occurs on Gamers Table every other Thursday. I can't believe I didn't even mention that, but yeah, that's also a thing that I do.
Two demerits. Yes.
Yeah, two demerits.
And we have
I'm going to take that class over.
Yes, and in just about a couple of weeks, we're going to get started with a Star Trek game, which will be I'll post the dates on that. We'll have Session 0 coming up here really soon. So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.